Hello, this is Lori with Mortgage Coach Support, and in today's QA session, we'll be going over how to create fee templates within Edge as well as product templates. Where we're going to be starting is within an Edge file and starting to create the fee template.
So to add fees into this area, we have two buttons. We have Add Fee and Add Custom Fee. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Add Fee a couple times just to be able to provide a couple line items in this area. If you click on the down arrow, what you have is quite a few fee descriptions. What we do is we follow a HUD fee description detail, and that's what's within the screen. So let's go ahead and I'm going to do an appraisal fee. Let's do a credit report fee. Put it in there. Let's go ahead and do a processing. And my process, whoops, I did pest inspection, so let's go ahead and do processing and make sure it's marked as an APR. Well, the best way to, when you're creating these fee templates, is to be able to have a fee cost sheet from your origination system. Have it sitting beside you. Definitely have something that's indicating if it's an APR item or not. So you'll be able to have mark it here. Add to loan, if you're doing a refinance, you want to go ahead and if you want to add fees to the loan amount, you would just mark it so, and then that fee amount would be added to the loan. And then our third column here is for prepaid escrows. So in our short-term saving, we only show the cost, which is the interest and the mortgage insurance, and we don't want to do any of the prepaid escrows in that total. So by clicking on that, it would go ahead and exclude it. Okay, let me go ahead and let's add just a couple more fees here, and then I'll show you how to create a custom fee. So we have that. Let's put in an underwriting, and when you pull down the drop down, so say if you have an underwriting, just type the letter U and it drops you down to all the U's. So it's a quick way to get through this list to be able to find your fees. So now if you want to be able to add custom fees, if you want to have it slightly different, let me show you one description here. So for my reserves, I have hazard insurance reserves. Sometimes what people want to be able to see is the actual one-year hazard insurance reserves. So if you want to be able to show that, just press Add Custom Fee, and then go ahead and put in your description. So let's just put in 1 year. So I went ahead, whatever description you want to be able to put for any type of fee, go ahead and indicate so. If you're doing a percentage, if it's off the loan amount or the property value. And is it a default prepaid? So if it's a prepaid escrow, you want to make sure we mark it, which this is, since it's our reserves. So I went ahead and indicated it by marking that box. If it was an APR item, if you're creating a custom fee for an APR item, make sure it's marked here. Anytime you pull up that description, it will already be marked. So let's go ahead and press OK. Okay, I do have a question from Jimmy, and he's asking a suggestion on the verified APR fees versus no APR fees. If you email us, we have a list that primarily is just a guideline. The best way to do it is actually go to your origination system. Most origination systems already have those APR items marked, and it's the easiest, quickest way for you to be able to see it. Usually fee cost sheets, if you pull it out, it would have the APR marked or an itemization. That's what you're looking for. A HUD one really doesn't tell you if it's an APR or not. It will tell you fees and fee descriptions, but not so much if it's an APR item. So I would definitely go in and try to look for a fee cost sheet or an itemization where basically it's also breaking down the APR versus non-APR fees. Okay. And the NCC tax credit is a mortgage tax credit for first-time home buyers. It is within usually within the state. If you Google MCC credit, you'll be able to find a little more information. I know different states, different areas offer different percentages, so it's good to look it up prior. Make sure also your company offers that product. Okay, so what I'm going to do is remove this fee here, and to remove a fee all you have to do is press the trash can and it will delete it from your list. So let's go ahead and put in my tax reserves for that. I want to go ahead and add my county, my property taxes. So if it's under, oops, I'm down at my base of my fees. Let me go back up to the top. type in C. Sorry. Okay, we have our county property tax right here. Again, if you want to be able to put tax reserves and change the description, go ahead and do so by just creating a custom fee here. So let's go ahead and put this in here and see how they're marked prepaid escrows over to the side. If you're an enterprise account, you might have these fee templates already created in your drop-down right here. And if you do, you'd just be able to pull them down. If you don't have them and you're on an enterprise account, you could contact us. We can let you know who the administrator is on the account, and we could try to get those set up for you. Okay, so basically you just keep going through, adding fees accordingly. Once you're all done, it will provide a total here. Let me go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and add a owner's title in here. So if you have the owner's title and put in the amount, I'm going to indicate it as a seller paid item. So you can go ahead and identify who is picking up that charge. And in this particular case, I said seller. And you'll notice that the total over here on the seller area will now put that amount and then subtract it from the borrower's area. Okay, once you're all done, let's go ahead and we're going to save this as a template. And then afterwards, we'll show you how you can modify this template and then use it to copy different fee templates. I'm going to call this one Q&A, conventional fees, so that way we'll be able to identify rather quickly with the Q&A. If you're doing originating multiple states and you want specific state templates created, you could go ahead and indicate the state. If you're not doing different originating, go ahead and just leave that state blank. That way you don't have to come through the drop-down, choose your state, and then choose your template here. Okay, and you see that I have my QA template is now saved with all the other fee templates that I've created. So once you're done creating all your fees, modifying it, a lot of times what I do too is when you do these, any items that are variable when you're doing a template, I leave those blank only because you don't want to be able to bring over dollar figures that are for different property. So a lot of times people will take the hazard reserves, tax reserves, keep them as a 0 for their template, as well as any other items that might change, like a lender title fee, things like that. So let me go ahead and put these amounts back in. And then when we go into our fee templates, I'll show you how to remove it from my fee template. So once you're all done, you want to go ahead and apply your fee template to the loan. And by doing so, you go ahead and press Apply to Loan. It will then total all your APR fees, your prepaid escrows, and non-APR fees, and then contributions. So in this particular case, it's the owner's title of $450 that they're picking up. So just a moment, let me check a question. Okay, Art is requiring or inquiring about being able to put just 14 months for the hazard insurance or 7 months for the property tax. Currently, we are discussing that, making a change. What it is when I advance our screen, this is when we put in our monthly costs. And because of that, we don't have the monthly cost going into this area. We have to change our screens around. And once we do that, then what we're planning is to be able to put the 4 months here, and it will calculate that amount out. So right now you would just have to be able to calculate on your own and put that dollar figure in this field here. Okay, so once you're done with your fees, we're going to move on to our monthly costs. Monthly costs, if you have an estimate, you could go ahead and provide the estimate for your hazard. So I'm going to go ahead and put 0.35. And then in California, we also quote taxes at 1.25. So by putting these percentages in and creating our product template, it will automatically calculate these numbers for you when you bring the file into, or the template in. So again, it's going to speed up the process for your data input. And again, once we're done doing the templates, we'll run through and I'll show you how quick it is and how much data really falls through. So mortgage insurance, I'm going to go ahead and put 0.97 on this. Because we're doing a conventional loan, I'm keeping the MI cutoff at the 78% LTV mark. And this calculate MI on balance is for FHA loans and send with the MI cutoff. And I will discuss this when we create our FHA product. So now what we want to do is save this product as a template. So I have this as a conventional 30-year, and I'm just going to go ahead and put QA in front of that also. And I'll press OK. So now that has saved our product template, our conventional product template, and we'll be able to go afterwards and check it out in our settings. So now let's go in and add our second product, which will be our FHA product. Okay, Kathy is, before we move on, I do have a question from Kathy, and she is asking about the prepaid interest calculated edge being slightly different from Encompass. It could be that it is being based on a 360 versus a 365 day, and that could be the reason why the numbers are off. I believe we provide it at a 365 days. So if you email in if you need to know that information. 360? Okay. We actually calculate at a 360 day, and that probably is why the difference is. So if that answers your question, if not, let me know. So let's go ahead and create an FHA 30-year product. And you'll notice as you're creating your product, your titles, you'll see them over here. So if you want to make them consistent and forgot what you did on the first product, you'll be able to see it on the side over here. It's an auto refinance. If we pull down my drop down, you'll see that Q&A product that we created for the conventional. I'm not going to select it, but I just wanted to show you it was there. And you can also do a copy from. If you wanted to copy that conventional 30-year, you could go ahead and do so. Let me go ahead and do it, and I'll show you how we could change it to an FHA. No, I'm not going to do it because we're going to create a fee template brand new. So I'm going to press cancel. We'll do it in the sample after we run through our templates. So going through, this one's an FHA. What this toggle will do is provide us the upfront MIP in our next fee screen. So if you're doing a lender-paid mortgage insurance, you would also want to mark it as an FHA. It will not show up, FHA will not show up anywhere on our report, so don't worry about that aspect. It's just controlling the upfront MI field. So let's go ahead and put in the $250,000 loan amount. And on my down payment here, I'm going to go ahead and put at 3.5%. Let's put the rate at 4.25 and the term at 360. And then moving to our fees, we'll put in our first 15 days per diem interest. I also wanted to show you that if you hover your mouse over that 15 days, it will show that dollar amount, so you'll be able to see it, but we also have it in our closing cost details over here. Upfront MI, let's go ahead and put our 1.75% factor, and the system will calculate it for you, as well as clicking on the box, add upfront MI to loan amount. Now let's go to our closing cost details. So we have our fee templates in here. We've already created our Q&A conventional. My fees are quite similar from my conventional to the FHA, so let's use this as our starting balance, or our base, to be able to work from. So we'll bring down the base of your fees here. So say our appraisal fee has changed, and you can add a couple other fees if that was the case. Let's do a pest inspection, throw that on there. We're going to mark it as an APR. And then you could just modify it accordingly. So this will save a little bit of time by bringing down a previous template that you've created. Modify the dollar figures here. In this instance, I'm going to go ahead and remove my property tax so I could show you how it will create it as a generic item for our templates. Now I'm going to save it as a template, and this one I'll call QA FHA template. Obviously it's a fee template, but I put it in there. Press OK. And now that template is also saved in our drop-down. So we'll have the two there. Now let me go back and let's put in our reserves again. Whoops. Okay, and then once you're done and you've modified your fees, adding any additional fees or deleting any, go ahead and apply it to loan amount. And currently, Kathy, we don't have a way to edit the per diem days, so let me email us as support and I'll talk to you further on that one. Okay, so we went ahead and applied the fees to loan amount, and again it went ahead and applied all the fees. My APRs are a little low. I should have had an origination fee, but if you add your fees, you'll go ahead and increase that amount. advance our screen, and again, I'm just going to go ahead and put in our 0.35, 1.25, and now to cover the mortgage insurance on an FHA. So because we're greater than 90% LTV, let's go ahead and put the 1.35% factor, and you'll see the dollar amount will populate over in this field. On an FHA loan with, since the LTV is greater than 90%, you'll have to take the MI for the life of the loan. And to do so, on this field, MI cutoff month, you want to make sure you put 360 here. This will take it for the life of the loan. Also on an FHA or any products that you need to have MI recalculated each year on the declining balance, have this box marked right here. Each year you'll have that declining MI. So now we're done with our FHA product. Let's go ahead and save it as a template. Whoops, QA. And you'll see, well, now we'll have our QA FHA and QA conventional template saved. Let me check the question. Aaron's asking about lender paid MI. Yes, let me go back to the first screen. If you mark it as an FHA, it will not, FHA will not appear anywhere on the report. It will only trigger this field for the upfront MI. So correct. You don't have to worry about market FHA to get that field. Yes, and you would use conventional fees if it's a lender paid MI if you're doing a conventional loan. And then Carrie's question is on MI. On FHA, MI declines each year on the outstanding balance. So they have to calculate it. You'll receive, have all that declining MI on the loan. So to do that process, you need to have that box marked here. Let me go back. I have another questions with Sean. Let's go back here, and we're going to add our escrow costs and our titles. Yes, you can add it. I didn't add it in here. Thinking off the top of my head, I apologize. So let's go ahead and add those fees. So if I add a fee for escrow, if I type E, you notice there's an escrow fee, but this is a custom fee recreated. You can also list it as a settlement fee, and you could click on it here. Click on the settlement fee, put in that dollar figure, mark it as an APR item. Keep picking school taxes. So there we go, mark it as an APR item. Add another fee, lender's title. And you can really get, I mean, I've seen people really take the title fees and break it down as far as they can. They put in the endorsements. I mean, it really depends on how much you want to be able to show, how much of the fees when you print out a cost sheet, how much you have. Whatever they have, go ahead and key it in here. Be more complete for the borrower that you can. Some people create fee templates based on loan amount because the lender's title fee changes. When we go into the settings, I'll show you how to be able to do that a little bit more. So we'll discuss that a little bit more on when we go into the settings after this product. Okay, and for lender credit, so let me add a couple more. Let's go ahead and do a loan origination fee here. And I'm going to go ahead and put it at $9.95 and mark it as an APR item. And we have a couple ways of doing contributions. So if I add a fee, we do have a field here called contribution. And we have the logic in our computer where you could go ahead and put it as a positive amount. So say if I put in $1,000 credit that the lender's provided me, go ahead and key it in this way. If you want it to go against the APR items, you could go ahead and indicate that or leave it empty, and it will, the $1,000 will go against the non-APR fees. If you don't want to use the word contribution, let's go ahead and create a custom fee. And we could call it lender, or you could call it seller credit. We'll do seller credit here. But again, you can use the contribution line just the same if you want to be able to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a seller credit in. And let's, this way, because it's a custom fee, the system doesn't know it different from a fee up here versus this one with contributions. So you just need to be able to key it in as a negative. and you would want to attribute it to the borrower, so that way that $1,000 will go against all the borrower fees here. So that's two ways to be able to do a credit, and then it will go ahead and reduce the amounts of lender paid totals here, and then bring down the borrower paid fee items here. So we have those. I'm going to apply it to the loan. I'm not going to save it as a template, but you could if you wanted to be able to do that. If that answered your question, Sean, if not, let me know if you need a little bit more information on the closing costs. We will go back into these fee templates when we go into our settings up here. Okay, once we're all completed here, we did save it as a template here. If you wanted to create more products, you can key up to 4 products onto the report. Lender credit would be excuse me, let me go back here. I have a couple more questions on this screen. This particular one where it says contributions, Sean, this, we have logic behind this field here, and it is in our drop down. You don't have to create it as a custom fee. With that logic, we have, you can key that amount as a positive. We know to subtract it from the borrower paid fees. What we've had is some people don't want to use that physical word contribution. That's why we allow them to go ahead and create whatever custom fee they want to call that credit, put it in here, but you have to enter as a negative because our system does not know that it's a contribution. So if you want it to go against all the borrower fees, you have to enter it as a negative. You have to indicate it's a borrower. But you did describe here that it was a seller credit. If you have earnest monies, you would do the same thing just by creating a custom fee, putting earnest money, make it as a negative, and then put it as a borrower paid fee. Okay, great, Sean, you got that. And Harlow, when you talk about seller buy down credit, are you talking about the seller buy down form that we have for the partner section? I'm going to go ahead and apply this to the loan right now. Okay, the seller buy down is in the partner section, and we do have a screen that calculates that out differently, and so I'll be able to show you that if we have time at the very end here. Okay, so now we have our products and our fee templates. I'll show you, Art, how to delete any saved templates when we go into our settings screen. So, okay, advance onto our analysis here. You have your property appreciation, short-term savings, lower left-hand corner of the quadrant. We automatically show 5 years. You can always change that figure if you like to. Same with the long-term, 15 years. That'll be in the lower right-hand corner. You have your benchmarks, just to be able to remind you that there are the benchmarks, so if you want to be able to compare against a different product. Also, if you're doing a refinance, you want to make sure that your benchmarks are set to that current mortgage. Go in here. You also have the adjust reinvestment strategy, where if you want to be able to put an additional $50 toward their principal, you'll be able to show them, and you'll be able to show them how it reduces their loan term. You also can reinvest the MI cutoff. Not so much on the FHA loan, but let me show you how to do it on the conventional. So right now the MI cutoff is 115 months. If you double click on that field there, you can say at 115 months and apply that whole $191.98 back into the account. So at this point, it will say from this month forward, go ahead, actually let me put it at 116. So from the 116 month, they're going to reinvest that MI back into the loan. So you'll be able to show them how to do that. There's also ways to do lump sum payments in this screen, and if you want further information, just go ahead and email us at support. Okay, so then you'll be able to see that, and by reinvesting that MI after that period of time, it will drop the freedom point down to 25.83 years. So let's press OK. So we also have a video tutorial on the reinvestment strategy, so if you want more information on that, just go ahead and email us at support. We'll get that to you. I'm changing my toggle here to be able to reflect the long-term interest and MI being paid on the 2 loans. Here's just information about the contact information on the borrower. We do not email anything, so just go ahead and put this information. If you have a co-borrower, their information will also appear on the report. Same with the property address here. We have total cost analysis. If you go into that seller buy down, it will have that information that you're looking for, Harlow. And then also, if you didn't want to see a report, you would just uncheck it in this area, and it would only show the products that you have marked. And I also want to bring your attention to the payment notes section down here. This payment notes, we have a default in our system that provides this information. Otherwise, just go ahead and type in taxes and insurance are included if you're including those in, which we did on these particular scenarios. If you're not, say are not included in the payment, I'll show you on the report what that will print out. So now we're going to just move on. The last three screens are allowing you to modify this text at the base, which I'll show you in the report where that displays. And now we're at the very end of our report here. What you want to do is make sure you put a quote date in, so that way they know when those rates were quoted to them. Make sure that notify me on the report so you get your email alerts and the enable call button. So now let's check out our preview and we'll be able to see our report here. Okay, so in our report, you'll be able to see them side by side. If you click on all the more info buttons, you have your payment breakdown. You can always check to make sure your MI is on there and it's correct, and the consistency that your taxes and your hazard insurance. You'll be able to see your closing cost details plus the fee details all right here, or if you finance them in the loan, they would be marked there. As well as the reinvestment strategy. It's marked custom because I customized it. If you just key in the monthly amount, you'll be able to see it directly on the report here. If you double click, you'll be able to see that I'm reinvesting the MI. So, okay, so let me review in the report. One other thing, let me go into the more info button in the short-term savings. What these numbers are, just to go through it real quick with you, is the interest and mortgage insurance that are accrued during that 60-month period. Any closing cost fees, we add those two amounts together to get our totals, and then the difference between the two, that's what the savings is. So they're saying if you'd had a conventional product, you have $4,200 savings over that FHA over that 5-year period. A lot of times when I send out reports, I just highlight those features to be able to help direct the consumer on what those numbers mean. Okay. Let me check my questions real quick. Highlighting an item on a report, there's a couple ways to do it. If you want to do it as a full column, if you go to the title, left click, it highlights everything. Left click again, it removes the highlight. And you could do that for each individual field as well. Also, when you're working live, if you want to direct the client's attention to certain areas, highlight it. And a quick way to clear out the highlights is the button at the base here. If you press clear all, it clears out all the highlights. So, and it will do that when you're working live. It will clear out the highlights on the consumer's presentation as well. For the amortization schedule, I'll go back in. I'll show you shortly on how to do that. Just one moment, I'm reading some questions. Okay. Okay, so we have this here, the question. Okay, going back to Edge. Let me go in. I'm going to the presentation. A lot of times when you come in here, you want to go directly up to preview. That will bring you that last screen. What I want to do is go into my select support area. If you want to view an amortization schedule, you would just click on the amortization schedule, which product you want to be able to see, and then you do a preview. You can export it down here in the lower right hand corner. It'll export in a CSV file. You just identify where you want to save it, and then when you open it in Excel, you can resave it as a Excel format. So let me go back. So that's how you provide the amortization schedules. Okay. So now let me go into our settings and be able to show you, we'll come back to the report, but let's show you how to be able to modify that information. So if I go into settings, I go into our fee templates, you'll see all the other templates I have created, but the two top ones are the ones I did for the fee templates. So what you can do in here, let me go in the conventional. How I was telling you, I put in dollar amounts for my county taxes here. Since that's a variable item, I wanted to remove that amount. You can always add a fee. If you realize you had forgotten a fee, go ahead and add it to the template here, and it'll be able to go forward with those fees. You can also modify it in any which way to have it set as a template for any future products. You could then go ahead and you have a Save As button here. And then on the FHA template, you'll be able to do the same thing. I've had people, when you've created it here, like I was telling you, they created it based on loan amount. So you'd be able to go ahead and create the template. You could do it as a, you know, like 150 or to 200K less than that dollar amount, or 250 to 500K, you know, and just develop your templates that way. Just one moment, let me check something. Okay. I'm going to look into it further, and if we don't have it, we're going to have a copy button down in this area to make it easy for you to be able to take these templates and be able to copy. But you would see how it was easy to create it in the settings as you're going through. So if you ever have a new fee template, just put it in there, save it, and you'll be able to do any kind of modifying in the settings area here. Now if I move to the product templates, you'll be able to see my two product templates down here. My data did carry over, my down payment. Interest rate, it's up to you if you want to keep this interest rate in. I'm going to go ahead and remove it because usually interest rates change quite often. If yours don't, you go ahead and keep that. Okay. Let me finish this and we'll go back in the fee templates. We have the interest rate, per diem interest, or per diem interest days. You'll notice my fees are all grayed out here. You can always go into the closing cost details. You'll see how my template is automatically in here. If you wanted to change the fee template, you could go ahead through the drop down, make any adjustments here. Let's go ahead and remove those taxes, and then you apply it to the template. So this will, when we go in to create a report, you'll see how by using this product template now, it's going to come through. You'll just have to do your loan amount, your interest rate, update your fees. It will just move you through the creating a product rather quickly. You'll also see that 0.35, the factors went ahead and cleared in here. Let me go ahead and clear that out. And this is what really will help you, is by keying in your factors, your taxes and hazard insurance. If you have a consistent MI factor, go ahead and key that number in, or you can leave it blank depending on how you want to do it. Press OK. And then now we have modified that one. Let's go into our FHA. I'm going to clear out that also, as well as going into my closing cost details. Let's clear out this. And you'll notice, because when I saved it, I added a few items earlier that aren't in here with the settlement fees. You can go ahead and modify it and update any of the fees in here, and then just apply it back to the product template. Monthly costs as well. Let's just create this real quick. And definitely for the FHA, you want to be able to create a product template, have that MI factor, have the 360, and make sure it's marked calculate MI on balance. I'm going to press OK here. And then if you were in here and just want to start fresh on a product template, just press the new button. It will just give you a blank template here. You just fill out all the information. If you want to just set them up really quickly versus going through and creating a report, you could do it that way also. If I go into my fee templates, if I do a save as, this will allow you to save it as a new template. So if I created this FHA template, let's go ahead and put in a lender's title. and the amount is $450, and that's for loans of $250,000 or less. If I come in here, put in Q, create your title, press OK, then you'll have your new template saved. It didn't override the other template that we had. It created a new template. The FHA template is just the same as we had earlier. Okay, so here I would just go ahead and increase my amount and we'll be set. So that's a quick way. That's the copy button. It's really in the Save As. You just save your template under a new product name. Let me check the questions real quick. Okay, the loan originations grayed out. You would have, for the percentage field, it's because on the percentage field here, just like with the taxes, when you're inside Edge and you're in the closing cost details, the percentages go off the base loan amount. If you've added any fees to the loan amount inside your closing cost, the system doesn't know yet. So if you're basing points on the base loan amount plus any fees, then that's why we have it as a dollar figure. If you create a custom field, you can use that percentage field there, and just remember that when you're inside the closing cost details, the percentage is based on the base loan amount. Okay. And then also with this, when we were talking about the percentage field, when we go create the report, I'll show you a way of knowing what that dollar amount is through the points area. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is let's go through. I'm going to show you how to create a really quick report using our templates. So what I did, let's go to Home, go into New Client, put in the name, I always put my friendly name field. I'm just going to go in and key in the fields that I know I need. Appraised value, I don't really put it in, it's good habit. I'm just going through here, creating my product template, conventional. Let's go through my templates, drop it down, QA 30-year conventional, click on it. Let's put in our loan amount, rate, advance the screen, go to the closing costs. You see it's all based here. Closing cost templates populated down. You would fill in any number that's a variable that you had left empty here. Once you've modified that, apply it back to the loan, advance the screen. You'll see how the numbers populated. Same with the mortgage insurance. If for some reason the MI factor changed, just go ahead and make the change right here. Okay. Add another product. Let's do the FHA conventional, and then I'll come back to that origination percentage just in a moment. Bring down my add from templates. Let's go down to our QAs, pull up the FHA, put in the purchase price, put in the rate. Our fees are there. See how the upfront MI went ahead and calculated here. Modify any of your closing cost details in this area here. If you need to add a specific fee, or say on this particular case you don't have a processing fee, you can modify the fees within your screen here without affecting your templates. So you can go ahead and modify items here. That's also a good thing in templates. If you're not sure if you're going to charge the fee, go ahead and put it in here, and you can always delete it out. It's just less work having to add. Apply to loan once you're done. Bring it through. You'll see how the MI calculated. Again, the tax is calculated by having those factors in this area. If you have another product, you continue on. I want to make it as interest and MI paid. Put in any kind of information here. Say they have there's a co-borrower on here. Put that information in. Go ahead and update my payment note area, and then I'm going to go to my presentation. So I mean, it's that quick. Once you create those templates, you see how I was able to draw down those templates rather quickly. to be able to generate a report. Here's where those payment notes print, and it also will put 2 asterisks next to your payment and put the notes down in this area here. Going back to the origination points, let's go into one of our products here. You can put, if you're adding fees to the loan amount, you can always go and apply to loan amount, put in 1% here in your points. You can find out the dollar figure of how much it would be in this particular case once you've added it to a loan amount. So you have $23.84.15. Go back into my closing costs. I'm going to add a loan origination fee and put in that dollar amount. Mark it as an APR. If I want Sean, for you, if you automatically have a custom 1%, you could go ahead and put in whatever description you want. Default APR, I'm going to do the calculation on my loan amount. Press OK. And you could go ahead and put in the 1% there. And you could do it in your settings, in your product templates also. You could add that. So you have that here. Just remember, it is going off of the base loan amount and not any of the fees that were added in this area. So if I press apply the loan, let's remove the point here. Go back into my closing cost details, and I'm also going to remove the fees. If that helps, Sean, let me know. We do have the capabilities. Just remember, it goes off that base loan amount field. Okay, Paul, that should have answered your question also. Harlow, about the 30 days per diem interest. It's whatever your company, I have a lot of people put 30 days, the majority put 15. It's just providing them a quote since you're not quite sure when they'll close into the month. Some people know it and they only put 5 days. They know approximately when they're going to close. So it depends what you want to quote. You can put that in there. Yes, Sean, if you have any additional help on the fees and want to understand a little bit more on that, just go ahead and email us at support and we'll be able to assist you with that. We also have great tutorials that you'll be able to access. If I go ahead, let's go click on help. It brings me to a new tab and it brings you to our knowledge base here. We have, if I type in fees, just to see what video assets we have on fees, if I do a search, you'll see which fees are included in the APR, how to show a creditor contribution, create fee templates. Click on more and you'll see all the different fee, any template or video asset that we have created. Click on that and be able to either provide a short written description, as in this particular case, or if we have a video asset, let me put that back in. On this particular one, we do have a video asset, and you could be able to watch how to do that there. If there's a particular item you want to see it as a video asset, just go ahead and email support, and we could create that for you. If you're brand new to Edge, Edge 101 is actually a great process to go through because it touches base on the settings, how to upload your picture, items like that. It's about 40 minutes. Really great just to give a basic understanding of Edge. Okay, so we're going through this. Yes, going back to our open house. We have under this one, presentation walkthroughs. So if you click on that arrow here, you'll see we have our main reports. Here's how to create a purchase total cost, refi total cost, the rent versus own, the open house flyer. Also shows you how to collect the data for the realtor. How to do the seller buy down is also in here, and how to use Edge Live. And if you're working with your clients, Edge Live is great because they'll be able to work with the report and you'll be able to help direct them to areas of the report. It automatically does it live for you in between with the consumer. Okay. Okay, so we have a few minutes left. Let me go into the sample here for an open house flyer. I'm not going to go through all the pieces really quickly, but what I do want to show you is we did have a question, actually, if you go into the contact information, If you key in the email address of your realtor, we do now allow for the realtor to be able to receive that email alert saying that someone opened it. So if you are sending out open house flyers on behalf of the realtor, click on that. They know if someone's viewed that report. So there's a field here. Let me go into the buy down. If I change the report, and I'm sorry I'm going so quick. What I did is just go from presentation over to select report, and this allows me to change it from an open house flyer to a seller buy down. Seller buy down is usually only off one product. You would want to put your payment notes in here, because what this is doing, taxes and taxes, sure. Excuse me, guys, I can't talk and type. So you have the payment notes here. This is creating an additional report all under one file, just like the rent versus own and the TCA. The open house flyer and the seller buy down can be created by one report. It provides you two different links and you use the same data that you use for the open house flyer. So if I move on, see here, this is the information that it's asking for that seller buy down. So whatever the cost may be, this is the rate we have on the product and the rate change. Just go ahead and if it's going to change it, 0.25%, and then how much percentage of income to qualify. So that's the information you would need to create, add additionally to that product section to be able to create that open house flyer. So let's go take a look at it. If I go to preview, it takes me to my last screen. I want to put my quote date on it. Do a preview, and this is what that seller buy down, if I had a report created, it would have the picture of the house in this area, information on the realtor, and this is just more or less to be able to show the realtor building relationships with the realtor and really be able to show them how the 5% down, this is how the product currently works. If you reduce the price, or this is taking the $5,000, reducing the price by that much, still the same rate. But then if you keep the price the same and then you reduce the rate by a quarter, it will show what the new payment may be. And now this is showing price versus rate. So even though it's a $5,000 difference here, you would have to reduce to keep the same monthly payment in these two areas by having a rate reduction. If you had, with that same rate, keeping the rate at the high amount, to get that same payment that you did with the lower interest rate, you would have to drop the loan amount down to $483. So this is a way to be able to show the realtor, instead of reducing that house price, you could get that same lower payment by reducing the interest rate. So this is how what the seller buy down is doing for you, is helping the realtor understand, try to get the seller get the most money by just having them pay and reduce that interest rate there. If you do not, I have someone asking, Paul, if you do not see this button here, send Edge to view alert for your partner. If you don't see this button, what you need to do is need to clear the cache on your computer. You have, it looks like stored cache and it has the old screen. Also, make sure when you log on to Edge that you're going to HTTPS. A lot of people are missing the S off there, and that would also help and assist you. So let me check the questions one more time. Okay, Dan, I wasn't able to really go through the open house flyer, but there is that video that would be able to help. Remember, if you have any questions at all, always email us at support. We're able to provide the answer through the email. We'll send you video assets on particular subjects if that's the case. Also, when you send an email, go ahead and send us the link to the report, because a lot of times we need to view it, so it will just speed up the case if you give us that link. And what will happen is then we can view your report, take a look. If we need to actually look at the physical data, we ask you to log out of Edge so we'd be able to look at it and be able to provide it. Oh, something seems to be going on right now. Let's see. click on. And this is a spinner for some reason. It's slowing down in this area. Okay, let's go off the screen. Okay. My brain just stopped. Sorry, guys. If you go through, just remember, if we go back into our reports, you'll be able to highlight, open up all the buttons. If we go back into Edge, is there any, let me just check the questions. Any other questions before I go off on another? I'm here. Can you hear me, anyone? Hello, this is Lori. No, the meeting's not over. Hi, everyone. I'm still on. Okay, you can't hear me. Thank you, Dick. Okay. So let's go back into home. So going back to our settings, another area I want to be able to show you, we do have the templates. The last 3 screens of that report is this text right here. Where this text prints is on the report. Let me go into the report. And if you click on the More Info buttons, you'll see the text on the right-hand side. That is coming from those report templates. If you want to modify it, you could do it individually on each report. If you want to be able to change that language and you want it on all the reports, you could do it in this section here. Just remember it's Settings, Report Templates. Also short term, if you want to show a different time period all the time, you could reset it in this area. It's the total cost analysis, the seller buy down, rent versus own. Each one of these reports has its own disclaimer area. Also, bringing the sidebar down, besides the disclaimer that's at the footer of the report, we also have an extended disclaimer. This area, you could go ahead and put information about your licensing. A lot of companies want to be able to show their corporate licensing as well as addresses. You'll be able to put that information here. Let me press OK. And if I go back to my report, you would have a More button in the lower right-hand corner right here. And if you click on that, that licensing information will display, as well as it would be included as the last page as a disclaimer page on the hard copy, the printed copy. So there's more information to be able to put those template or modify those templates on a permanent basis for each of the reports through the report templates here. Social Pro, we're currently, if we're not selling it, the reason for it is Facebook had changed to the timeline, and what we had created doesn't work with that timeline feature. So right now it's being revamped, and when we're ready to provide that product again, we'll do an announcement allowing that. Okay, everyone, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you. If you have any questions or if you want a scenario to be shown next week, just email us at support. We'll go ahead and provide those scenarios. We do have our coaching calls on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Go ahead. You can sign up for those on our webpage, and our webpage is mortgagecoach.com. If you go under the community tab, you have all our past coaching calls. Just click on that and you'll be able to hear any of those past ones. Our Q&A call would be listed right in the top area here, and we replace those each week. Sign up for the coaching calls right over on the right-hand side, and you're on it, so you've already done the Q&A right down here. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your day.